Our body is magnificent. It knows how to process trauma. No emotion stays in your body for more than 90 seconds, and anything that stays in your body for more than 90 seconds is because of the story that you give that emotion. Oh, they're here to get me, they're going to cheat me, they're going to do this, they're going to do this. That is the kind of a message you're sending out to the universe. The person will react and behave with you completely differently to cater to what your beliefs are. When you truly want something from the bottom of your heart, the universe will bend its back to give you what you asked for. You never get $1 million in your life before you become the $1 million person. Most of us, especially this generation, is feeling depressed in the process, is going through a lot of anxiety simply because they've lost touch with who they truly are.
Maybe you can share a few affirmations for our audience to practice.
Start off with saying,
you've been into personal development for like more
12 years.
12 years.
Yes.
Yeah. What has been one of the most profound experiences that you had in your personal development journey?
The question I asked Dr. John D. Martini was, I have everything in my life right now. My finances are sorted. I'm independent. I'm financially independent right now. I have a great relationship with my husband. Everything is sorted in my life. But when it comes to my father, I'm finding it so difficult to actually let go of the resentment I have against him. And I really hate that man so much. He looked at me and he asked me, Gayathri, what is that you don't like about your father? I said, while growing up, he was emotionally unavailable for me. He was financially not stable and he was not there for me, which I hate about my father. Then he looked at me and he asked me, Gayathri, what are the advantages or benefits of your father being all of this in your life?
Ooh.
I was like, how can there be any benefits or advantages, right, to the father being unavailable to you? He said, no. The universe will never give you anything that does not have both upsides and downsides to it. Now go back to those moments and tell me, what were the benefits of your father being emotionally unavailable and financially unavailable to you? That's when I looked back at all the situations and I ended up crying, because just because my father was emotionally unavailable, I had all of this trauma. I embarked on this journey of personal development, which has become my life's purpose right now. Because my father was financially unstable, I made it a point that I'll become financially free, and I became financially independent at the age of 30 in my life. And because we could not travel a lot while growing up, so now it's become my life's purpose to travel the world with my husband. If my father had been any different, my life wouldn't be what it is right now. And that moment, I did not have anything against my father. I did not have to forgive him for anything, but rather I felt so grateful for him being the way he was. That perspective shift changed everything for me, and it dissolved all of the limitations and it dissolved all of the perception mismatch I had in my subconscious. There was no need to forgive, but rather I came from a space of gratitude back then.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's so powerful when, the shift of awareness, right?
Yes.
And reframing.
Yes.
It has a huge, huge, huge power.
Yes.
Whew. Wow, that is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe one thing that I would like to ask you, like I think people ask you a lot of questions, but what is one question that almost no one asks you and you would love to answer?
Okay. One question that I seldomly get asked is, what is the purpose of life? That is something which is very, very close to my heart. And recently, there was just one person, one participant, one client of mine who asked me this question, saying they were reading the book The Letting Go by David R. Hawkins. They said, you have to let go of the attachment because attachment is the root cause for all suffering. That is what even Buddha says. But then she asked me, Gayathri, if we don't have desires, what's the purpose of life? I mean, that was an excellent question, and that is something that I would love for more people to know. So one is, desire is not the root cause for all the problems, all the suffering, but rather the attachment to the desire is the root cause for all the suffering. It's not the desire in itself. Yeah. The second thing is how I look at life. The ultimate purpose of all of human beings is to realize who they truly are. Is to realize that we are one with the divine consciousness. Is to realize that we are one with God. If that is the ultimate part, but that entire concept is a very abstract concept. It's very difficult for the mind to comprehend, saying this is the ultimate purpose of life, so how do I do it? So I believe all of the desires and the visions and the dreams that we have in life is a blessing in disguise, which means I'm here at this point of time. This is my ultimate purpose in life. That is to realize that I am God, to realize I am the divine consciousness. So we have been given desires or visions or dreams in between so that the mind is able to pursue that. In the pursuit of a desire or goals, we shed off layers of our ego and get one step closer to who we truly are.
Oh,
Yeah. So the desires, what you have, the desires, what I have. There are two kinds of desires, right? One is that stems from ego. The other one is that stems from the true soul's purpose. When you embark on the journey of the desire that is stemming from the soul's purpose, it means you're shedding out layers of who you are and getting close to the desire. And it's also beautifully said that happiness begins when your desire ends. Anything that you want in life, you become happy when that ends, that wanting ends. That wanting ends when you become that person who has what you want.
wow. How do you know the difference? What you want that coming from the ego,
Yeah.
than what it's coming from within?
Yeah, great question. So anytime you have a desire, I ask this question to myself saying, what is the intention behind this desire? So for example, let's say I want to buy a car, I want to buy a house. If the intention is because this body and this spirit wants to experience abundance for myself, then it is coming from a different space. But when it is coming from a space of I want this so that I can show off to other people, or I want this so that I feel worthy of myself, then it is coming from a space of ego. We as spirits are worthy irrespective. So we don't need a car, we don't need a house, we don't need a spouse to feel worthy of who we are. We are worthy just the way we are. But if we are able to attach any of the outcomes of the manifestation to our sense of worthiness, then it actually comes from a space of ego.
Oh, I see. I really love that.
Yeah.
I really love that. And manifestation for you, how did it help you in your life?
I think my entire life has been a product of manifestation. For the first so many years, it was unconsciously manifesting my life, and now it is much more consciously doing that. There's a lot of misconception around manifestation, and people tend to think manifestation is some woo-woo stuff, it's just wishful thinking. It's none of it. Most people think manifestation is magic. Manifestation is not magic. Manifestation is a process of what you go through, because when my thoughts, my feelings, my actions, and my words are in alignment, right? I become a magnet to opportunities and people that I want in my life. And one of the misconceptions that most people have is, if I'm just going to sit here, meditate, and just going to visualize things, I will be able to manifest whatever I want. The missing piece there is taking inspired action. Because the minute you have an intention towards achieving something in your life, it means the universe is already orchestrating multiple things to give you what you asked for. So until you get up and do the work, so for example, let's say day one is when you set an intention and you ask for something. The universe has orchestrated something to give you a person or an opportunity on day 7. And you will get that idea or thought on day 6. So until you go through day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you will never know what those thoughts and ideas are that will help you get what you asked for. So taking inspired action is an integral part of manifestation, and taking action is the highest form of commitment that you tell the universe saying, hey, listen, I'm very serious about this.
I'm trying to understand, how did manifestation specifically help
Okay.
you in your life?
Okay, got it.
So how did manifestation help you in your life?
All right. So there are two things. The first one is with respect to my finances, right? So while growing up, I grew up in a family which was below middle class. We really did not have a lot of money. So my relationship with money was skewed all my life. I still remember, even last year, right? I wrote down a bunch of things that I want to manifest in my life with respect to money, with respect to the kind of people that I'm going to impact, and created a vision board out of it. And in less than 3 or 4 months, I was able to accomplish at least 60-70% of what my vision board had. Yeah. The 1 million followers that I have on Instagram is a part of manifestation. because it was on my goal list on an every single day basis. The partner that I have in my life right now, the man that I'm married to right now, is a part of the manifestation process. Because if you had met me in 2021, all of my life's aspects were sorted except for relationships. It was in 2021 that I went through a very deep processing where I had to let go of a lot of parts of me that felt and believed that I was not good enough, to eventually attract my life partner in less than 3 months, and in less than 7 months we got married. And I still have the notebook that I show to my husband where I'd written a bunch of qualities of the man that I want to attract in my life and get married to. And my husband is literally everything.
Wow.
So the money that I have right now, the kind of people that I'm attracting with respect to acquaintances, with respect to work, with respect to clients, with respect to all of the love that I get on social media everywhere, is somewhere that I've manifested in the process through consciously believing in that and doing the processes.
That's a good introduction for manifestation. So it works for you.
It
right?
works for everyone.
Is there someone that it doesn't work?
No.
Everyone.
If you are a human, right, you have the power. So I always give this example. Imagine yourself to be a magnet. Okay, there's a magnet. The magnet has certain qualities, certain properties. It has the properties to attract certain iron fillings into its life. Yeah, the iron fillings in our life are people, circumstances, situations, opportunities, all of this. Now, my existing entire life, the outer reality, is a reflection of what's going on the inside. So now I know my existing identity is attracting these things. Now, if I want a different reality, when I change myself, and I say when I change myself, when the magnet changes its properties, it's going to attract different iron fillings into its life. Similarly, when you change from within as a person, which means your thoughts are different, your beliefs are different, the way you think is different, the way you act is different, you start to attract people who match this particular vibration. So manifestation is you attracting what you want in your life, right?
Yeah, so you talk a lot of concepts. Maybe I think to start, I think a good place to start is maybe first to understand the brain. I think it's a good place to start.
Yes.
So how does it work?
Okay, so when you understand the brain, a lot of people, even the people who struggle with self-esteem and self-worth and all of that, anytime you fill your day with high priority actions, right? There's a lot of blood flow that goes to your prefrontal cortex, which is the CEO of your brain, which is the most evolved part of your brain. The more blood flow goes there, you start to become a rational thinker. You start to believe in yourself more, as a result of which your self-esteem goes high. On the contrary, when you start engaging in content that is fear-based, or you sit and watch shows or serials or anything that does not empower you, there's a lot of blood flow that goes to amygdala. Amygdala is responsible for the fear response. So all the emotions that you feel, I'm not good enough, this is so scary, I can't do this, all of this starts to kick in when you don't engage in high priority actions. So as soon as you wake up, if you're going to reach out to your phone because your brain was in alpha, then it comes slowly to beta. By the time it comes to beta, that is the best time for you to reprogram your subconscious mind. At that point of time, if you're going to grab your phone and look at the notifications, look at the messages, look at everything else on social media, it does not work in your favor.
And why do we have negative thoughts?
Okay. So thoughts are a product of the beliefs that we have.
Oh.
So thoughts are like the fruits and beliefs are like the roots, right? Most often the mistake that most people do is that they see a rotten fruit, they want to just pluck it and throw it away, expecting the next day the tree is going to give them all healthy fruits. As long as the roots are rotten, you're not going to get healthy fruits. The only way, the more you start to tell yourself, I don't want to think negatively, I don't want to think negatively, you end up thinking more negatively in the process because you're only trying to work on the symptoms. The root cause of all the negative thoughts that you have, for example, let's say you've been given an opportunity. The way you perceive an opportunity and the way I perceive an opportunity can be completely different. The difference comes from what beliefs I have about myself, what beliefs I have about the world, and what beliefs I have about success. If I have a strong belief that says, I'm good for nothing, I'm not good enough, I'm going to look at the opportunity and feel like I can't do it. If you have the belief system that says, I will kill it. No matter how difficult it is, I have the power and potential in me to go through whatever. You're going to look at the opportunity and feel like this is going to be $1 million opportunity for me.
Yeah.
So working on the fruits is not where the change happens. You got to work on the roots.
I think where a lot of people struggle is to really identify these limiting beliefs. Yes. So where can people start to identify what is limiting us?
The universe always has this power of giving you signals and signs in the most subtle ways. It's always trying to give you a nudge, saying, hey, listen, work on this. Hey, listen, work on this. But sometimes we ignore all of that and we move on with life assuming, no, I just don't want to pay attention to this. This is just too uncomfortable for me to pay attention to. After a point of time, the universe gives up and makes sure it shakes you up completely, changes and shackles your reality completely, so that at that point of time, you can come face to face with all the things that you've been suppressing all your life.
Ouch!
Mostly people wait until that happens. It's called tower moments. Tower moments are nothing but every aspect of your life goes for a toss. Everything is falling apart. That is because the universe has given you enough signs for you to wake up, but for some reason you chose not to wake up. And now you have no choice but to wake up.
Yeah. So what you're saying is about, if there's areas of our life where we are struggling, we can ask the question, okay, what do I really believe about this situation, right? So go to the root, right? And try to identify what are the beliefs that are driving the behaviors.
Absolutely. Every problem has a question.
Exactly.
Every question has an answer. And every answer always boils down to what I believe in about that.
Really, really, really good. Okay, so now we identified there's a negative belief.
Yes.
How do I rewire my subconscious to create a new empowering belief?
Perfect. So there are multiple ways that you can do this. So a lot of people, whatever they give as manifestation techniques out there, is a way for you to get to a point where you believe what you want to manifest is what you deserve. Mm-hmm. So all the techniques do that. So now for you to start creating an empowering belief, what you need to understand is beliefs are nothing but a repetition of thoughts and evidences attached to it. Why do you have a specific belief? Because you've told that about yourself multiple times and you've visibly seen evidences of it show up in your life. So you've made it a very strong core belief for you. So now as human beings, we also have this beautiful power of changing our own beliefs. So one is with affirmations. The more you repeat a statement to yourself again and again and again, it starts to become who you are. So in the process of affirmations, a lot of people give up in the early stages. The problem is the first few days of you doing affirmations will feel robotic, will feel very mechanical. Because think about it, for the longest, like say for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, you've been telling yourself that I'm not good enough. All of a sudden, one day you listen to a podcast, you listen to something, and you're like, okay, from today onwards, I'm just going to affirm to myself and say, I'm amazing, I'm good enough. Your mind is not going to believe you. Your mind is going to, and the subconscious does not like change. Right? The brain does not like change. The subconscious does not like change, because any change means moving into uncertainty. Anytime you want to move into uncertainty, it is a very scary process, right? That is why till it becomes effortless, you've got to put in the effort. Always.
By repetition.
Only repetition. The more you repeat it to yourself again and again, even if you don't generate those feelings in your body, it's absolutely fine for the first few days. And after a few days, you will look at yourself in the mirror and feel like, yeah, I think I'm amazing. And that will be your natural way of thinking. So every time I take a pause, like in my day-to-day activities, whatever I'm doing, suddenly I pause myself and I ask myself, what am I thinking? What orientation is these thoughts towards? Am I thinking positively about something, or am I thinking like I can't do it? If I believe I can't do it, I'm going to ask myself, where is this coming from? Do I have evidences of me doing it and I've failed?
Oh, yeah.
So most of the times I have evidences of starting something and not finishing it, which means there is a thought, there is a strong belief inside of me that's holding me back from finishing something. So I'm going to ask myself, what is my body addicted to at this point of time? Because any kind of a procrastination that we have is the body being addicted to that feeling.
Tell me more.
Okay.
This is super interesting.
Okay, let me tell you this. Okay, so if you're a person who's always used to pushing your task to the deadline, like say you have to submit something at 7 o'clock, you had the entire day for yourself, but you always pick up the work only at 4 o'clock and make sure you give your best, do whatever, and finish it by 7 o'clock. Now, what has happened is while you're doing that, as in from morning 10 o'clock to evening 7 o'clock, your body goes through a cycle of emotions. Yeah, let me do it later. Then you feel relaxed. Then you sit and binge watch something. Then you do something. Then there's a pressure that kicks in. 4 o'clock you start working. 7 o'clock you submit it. Your body has gotten used to this once. Let's say you do this multiple number of times. What has happened to the body now is it has gotten familiar with these emotional cycles.
Yeah.
The body is addicted to these emotional cycles right now.
Oh, I see.
So now, consciously, you can go out and say, okay, now I want to change this. 10 o'clock tomorrow, I'm going to start. I'm going to finish it at 2 o'clock and just be relaxed until 7 o'clock. You will never do that. Because now your body is your second mind. Thoughts are the language of your mind and emotions are the language of your body. And the only way you break this cycle is by unmemorizing the body from these emotions. You do the exact opposite. You train your body to go through the emotions of how it feels for you to start early and finish early and be relaxed throughout. Now the old patterns of your body is going to resist this. It's going to be like, I don't want to do this because this is unfamiliar. This is something I've not done it in the past. So that is when you override this with your conscious effort.
Oh, I see.
So once you've done this enough number of times consciously, after a point of time, that will be your new way of being. Not thinking, that will be your new way of being.
And how long does it take for that process?
For different people, it takes different times. So initially, people used to say anything you do for 21 days, it becomes a second nature. But now science has proved that it takes 66 days for you to embody anything that is new or to break something that is old. It takes 66 days of without giving a break, doing it consistently for your body to familiarize those emotions and make it your second nature. So think about it, like we're walking in a forest, okay? Let's assume there's a forest and you're creating a new path by walking on it. The first few days, you don't even know where the path is created. But after 10, 20 days, you start to see no plants are growing there and a new path is created. Now you understand this is the old path. I don't want to walk this path. I want to walk on a new path. You've got to do the same process once again. And in the process, the old path will get forgotten by itself.
I see. I love that. I see. So on one side, we have our limiting beliefs, right? But on the other side, I know that you also work a lot with trauma, right? And I think trauma, a lot of people think that trauma is just the big things that happen to some people, but everyone has trauma, right? Maybe you can help us to understand what are very common traumas that we have and how do they translate in our life?
Right. So most people, like you said, come with a misconception that only if somebody dies or somebody leaves me and goes, it's trauma. It's not true. While growing up, all that we wanted was love, attention, and affection from our parents. By some means, if we did not get it, even for genuine reasons, let's say the parents were working, they could not spend a lot of time with us. But we saw our neighbors having parents at home, they spent a lot of time. We start to believe that maybe I'm not lovable. Maybe I'm not worthy of love, and that's why my parents are not willing to spend a lot of time with me, because the analytical mind is not developed for a child until the age of 7 completely, right? So in that duration, whatever the child is seeing, it's constantly absorbing. That's why I always say, if you have a child or if you choose to have children in the future, be extremely conscious and mindful about how you're raising them, at least until the age of 7. Because when you inculcate a lot of values and beliefs in them, saying they're good enough, they're amazing, they're capable, they're just amazing that the way they are, they become much more confident children. So all of the confidence that we have, even for example, let's say a lot of people struggle with people pleasing. Even when they want to say a no, they can't say a no. As human beings, we all are very selfish. We only do things that cater to some advantages inside of us. So people may ask, what is the advantage of being a people pleaser? When you, for example, let's say you're asking me for something and I want to say a no, I can't say a no. Where is this coming from? This is coming from a space of fear where if I said no to you, it means you might abandon me. In order for me to not be abandoned by you in the process, I will say yes to you and abandon myself.
And it comes from a trauma?
Always. Always.
Mostly below 7
Yes.
years of age?
Yes.
And what's the difference between a trauma and a limiting belief then?
Trauma is something, the emotions, you're stuck in your body.
Oh, I see.
It is just stuck in your body. Belief is something that's there in your mind. It starts to translate as thoughts, but trauma and beliefs are also connected very tightly.
I see.
Because, for example, let's say while growing up, I had this trauma of my father not just being there for me always, and I developed a belief, because my father was not there, I developed a belief saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. Unless I process this, it's going to be, that's why I always say, in the process of manifestation is only secondary. The primary part is for you to heal.
Yeah.
You can never manifest. See, what is healing actually? You and I and everybody in this world was a born genius. You and I were never born with this belief or with this feeling of, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm this color, I'm that. None of it. We were born with ultimate self-worth, self-love, everything. We could cry at the top of our voices because we knew when we cried, the parents would come, feed us, give us the love, affection, all of that. So which means there is a genius that is there inside of you and me. This is a genius. On top of the genius is layers of crap that has been covering that says, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm this, I'm that. Healing is majorly you removing all the layers of crap which you are not. You're not becoming anything. You're just remembering who you truly were in the first place. And now this part is the divine consciousness, the divine genius that is there inside of you. This part's natural qualities are to attract abundance, peace, and love in its life. So you're basically not doing anything to manifest. You're being your highest potential, and manifestation is a byproduct of it.
Oh, I see. So first you need to heal, right?
You need to unbecome all of that, what you believe you are.
Yeah. Okay. So we already understood limiting beliefs and how to tackle them.
Yes.
Now trauma, which I think it's a bit more deep.
Yes.
Like, so for people, so where should I start?
Okay. First is starting to identify what patterns in my life that I'm repeating consistently. Which is, if it is with respect to money, am I able to make a lot of money, or am I able to retain the money that I make, or am I just spending off the money? It could also come from a trauma response.
Oh.
Yeah. And the second thing is with respect to your relationships. Am I attracted to people who don't prioritize me, or am I attracted to people who don't value me and I like the chase in the relationship? Because there are three kinds of attachment styles, right? The first attachment style is the avoidant one. Avoidant one is the one, let me start off with the anxious one. The anxious attachment style is where I constantly want the answers right now. The anxious attachment partners are the one who will call you 50 times, who will text you 100 times, who will want you to respond to them right now because they're scared of the space, because that reminds them of the abandonment on the inside.
Oh.
Right? And the second one is the avoidant partner. The avoidant partners are equally traumatized, but they don't like confrontation. They don't like to feel their own feelings of all these discomforts. So anytime the partner says, hey, I want to sit and have a conversation about something important with you, they want to pack their bags, run to the gym, go for a run, and just come back, and they don't want to indulge or engage in any kind of a conversation. Both of it is a trauma response. Both of it is unhealthy. And most often, an anxious person will attract an avoidant one, and avoidant will attract an anxious one.
Okay. Yeah.
And the same person can be both anxious and avoidant. I'll give you an example. For the longest time, even I used to be both anxious and avoidant. If I believed I was not good enough, okay? If somebody came into my life, drew no boundaries at all, they were so loving, so caring, and they were there for me anytime I wanted them to be, what started to happen is you will be avoidant with them. Because you're like, this is just too good to be true for me. How is this even possible? In your subconscious, you're thinking, I don't even like myself. Why are you liking me so much? It does not feel right. On the contrary, when there's another person who's not giving you attention, who's just like running away from you, you want to run behind them because the chase is interesting for you, because you start to believe, if I run behind the person and show the person how worthy I am, and the person falls in love with me, which means I'm worthy and lovable.
Oh, wow.
So both of this is a trauma response. The healthy style It's for you to come from a space where I know I love myself. I know I have flaws. It doesn't matter. I'm working on it. I truly love myself for who I am. I want to be in a relationship or a partnership just for the joy of it and not because somebody else is filling a void in me.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
So, you brought the conversation into relationships.
Yes.
Then how to build, I know like relationships is a big part of manifestation.
Yes.
How to build a happy and a long relationship?
The first and the only step is start falling in love with yourself. If you don't love yourself, don't expect for anybody to love you. If you don't prioritize yourself, don't expect for anybody to prioritize you. The world will often, not often, the world will always show you back what you believe about yourself. If you're in a relationship where you're constantly being abandoned, if you're in a relationship where you have emotionally unavailable partners, it is the universe trying to tell you that you have been abandoning yourself in the process. You have been being emotionally unavailable to yourself.
Oof.
So the more you start to see patterns in your life of similar patterns with different people, the universe is giving you nudges little by little. If you don't learn, it's going to become really, really painful.
So it looks like what you're saying, there needs to be a lot of self-reflection, a lot of inner work to identify these patterns, right? But once we identify, how can you release a negative energy that is stuck there from when you had like 7 years old?
Yeah, so basically what starts to happen is there are two things to it. One is you do a lot of inner child work. You sit with yourself, you connect with your inner child, and you start having a conversation with your inner child. It's going to be stubborn in the first few days because all your life, you never paid attention to it. Now it's like, I'm not going to trust you. It's not going to pay attention to you either. But rather you start building a very strong and a consistent relationship with your inner child and start healing that. What I would also recommend is for people to start doing Ho'oponopono. It's been a very, very powerful prayer that has helped me heal my own self and also my relationships in the process. So Ho'oponopono is an ancient Hawaiian prayer, which was initially used as a forgiveness prayer. But now, so the concept of Ho'oponopono is, I take 100% responsibility for whatever is happening to me in my life, which means if there is something in my external reality, it only means there is something inside of me that has created this in my external reality. So if I want this to change, something inside of me has to change. Sometimes I'm aware of what inside of me needs to change. Sometimes I'm unaware of what inside of me needs to change. So how you start doing Ho'oponopono is, whatever is affecting you at this point of time in your life and it is not working out in your favor, sit with yourself, take a few deep breaths, think about what that specific situation or person who's bothering you in your life, and you start doing this prayer. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. So who are you saying this? You're saying this not to the person, you're saying this to the divine. So the meaning between Ho'oponopono is, I'm sorry for being unaware of whatever is there inside of me that is creating this particular situation in my life. Please forgive me because I don't know where this data came from, this lifetime, past lifetime, I have no idea. Please forgive me for being unaware of it. Thank you for releasing this from my life, and I love you for this beautiful life. Every time when you repeat this, the divine is working through the superconscious, getting into the subconscious and clearing out the data so that when I heal, you also heal. That's why I say healing is such a sacred journey, because when you heal the entire world. And if you want to change the entire world, start with yourself.
Yeah, maybe you can you give us maybe an example from one of your clients that went from a deep rooted trauma to an empowered one. Can you share one story that deeply also impacted you?
One of my clients, yeah, absolutely. So I had this client from Canada, okay? And she used to tell me every time when we used to do the personal coaching session, she used to tell me, Gayathri, I don't know why, I feel like crying so much these days and I'm very scared of it. For the first 2 sessions, she said that, and I told her, whatever is happening, surrender to the process. If you feel like crying, The problem is not with you crying. The problem is with you resisting the crying. Yeah, Eckhart Tolle talks about this very beautifully. He says, it's insanity for human beings to resist what already is.
Oh, yeah.
Think about it. Something is happening to you in your life, and when you're resisting it, you're resisting what already is without understanding that this could possibly be the exact step that needs to happen for you to get what you asked for. So the first 2 sessions, she said, this is crying, this is happening. I just said, the next 1 or 2 weeks, anytime you feel like crying, just cry it out. Just let it out. So the next 2 weeks, she said, Gayathri, this time I cried for 4 days. Now it's reduced to 2 days. And she did a lot of release. She was not speaking to her parents for like almost 12 years because of a family issue that they had. But she loved her parents very dearly. But there was a lot of ego dynamics in the family. And even without her realizing, after this process, I think we do the 5-week coaching session. After the session, she said, my parents called me. Out of the blue, they called me and they wanted to have a conversation with me. And this time, I did not run away from it. I sat down with them, I had a conversation. I told them what they made me feel during all of this. They apologized, and now my family is back as how it used to be 12 years ago. So for me, when people come back and say, Gayathri, I manifested this, I manifested that, it's all great. But what I'm truly interested is in the person that they become in the process. Because who you become in the process is the main thing. All of your manifestations are just going to be the byproduct of it.
Yeah, yeah. So what you say, so first you need to heal yourself. You need to take care of your limiting beliefs.
Absolutely.
Right? And then you're ready for manifestation.
That's it. Right? Manifestation just becomes a byproduct. You think about it. There's something called law of least effort. Least effort. Law of least effort is nothing but when your thoughts, your actions, your feelings, and your words are in alignment. Because your beliefs are so strong, with the least amount of effort, you can have maximum abundance in your life. You've got to be aligned. That's why I ask people when they tell me something, are you actually telling me what you're actually feeling? Or are you trying to tell me something because you want me to perceive you a specific way? Every time you do that, you're misaligned with your own self.
Oh,
That's why your word needs to be your law. What you say is what you do. What you do is what you think. What you think is how you feel. All of this is in one alignment. You become like a super magnetic vibrational match to all of what you want in life. The very fact that all of us are born as humans itself has taken years and years of evolution for our soul to get to this point. And none of this is happening by accident, right? The soul is able to have this level of awareness because it has done so much work in the past lifetimes too. Otherwise, we wouldn't understand certain concepts as we're understanding right now. And we have to let go of the baggage. We have to come from a space of giving. We have to come from a space of divine purpose for our soul to evolve furthermore in life.
Yeah. Maybe in order to better understand the concept, maybe can you share 1 or 2 stories from your clients that you took them on a journey of manifestation, and what did they manifest?
Okay. When it comes to manifestation, right? Like I have a lot of clients who've manifested money, who've manifested the visas, who've manifested a life partner, manifested everything. But what's most interesting in all of this process, because I don't want people to come with this mindset that, okay, if I wish for something, I'm going to get it. If you wish for something, the very fact that you're wishing for something means it's a part of your destiny. Otherwise, you wouldn't be wishing for that.
Okay.
But who you're becoming in the process is the most crucial element. People forget about the aspect of becoming and embodying those qualities. Let's say your existing identity has a specific amount of money, it has certain circumstances in its life. And you're looking at a future reality as to what you would like to be like in your life. Now, you cannot be the same person and aspire. You can aspire for it, but you cannot be the same person and have that. You have to become that person. That's why I always say, you never get $1 million in your life before you become the $1 million person. You become the $1 million person first here for you to start attracting opportunities, people, and circumstances that is going to make you $1 million in your life. So focus on not just the practices, focus on you becoming that person. Focus on you becoming a vibrational match to that. And your subconscious mind is your best friend. It's like your personal assistant who's working for you all the time, 24 hours a day. So now if you have certain beliefs that are not empowering for you, sit down, take the time and effort. So I would start with every day, at least for 10 minutes, sit with yourself and observe what's happening in your body. Just observe the sensations in your body without naming it or without wanting to run away from it. Don't put a timer, don't put anything. Just tell yourself, okay, today I'm just going to sit with myself because I want to build a relationship with myself. I want to understand what's happening in my body. I want to understand what these sensations are. Because what we need to understand is we are a very complex structure. Yeah, we're not the brain, we're not the mind, we're not the body, we're something beyond that. And most of us, especially this generation, is feeling depressed in the process, is going through a lot of anxiety simply because they've lost touch with who they truly are. Now, with everything the way it is going right now, people have started giving so much importance to how they look, the bodies, the surgeries, and all of that. This is just an equipment. This is just like, what would I say, a machine for your soul to experience the life in this world. So take care of this. This is your temple. Take care of this. But don't be obsessed with it. Don't misunderstand that this is who you are. No, you're beyond this.
Yes, and that's what you were mentioning before. So what we need to do, so we have a lot of layers that were given to us, our parents, our culture, and the process, we need to shed those layers. And one way to do it is just to observe.
Observe what's happening in your body.
And accept whatever.
Exactly, whatever comes up, just observe. Because what people have started to prove that is, no emotion stays in your body for more than 90 seconds. And anything that stays in your body for more than 90 seconds is because of the story that you give that emotion.
Oh.
Our body is magnificent. It knows how to process trauma. There is no shortcut to doing the actual work. If you don't listen to your body, the way your body is screaming at you at this point of time, the body will start screaming even louder in the form of diseases in the future, so that you have to pay more attention to it later.
That was deep. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I need to process that. Yeah, it's very powerful.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is so when we have an emotion, it's an emotion, let's say a negative emotion, stays in our body.
There's nothing called a negative emotion or a positive emotion.
Okay.
All emotion is energy in motion in the body.
Yeah. So if we have an emotion, let's say it stays on an average like 90 seconds on our body.
Yes.
The problem is that we get attached to the emotion to stay with it.
So,
right?
for example, when I'm angry with you, you say something. Okay. When you tell me something which annoys me, it triggers me, I am not reacting to you. I am reacting to the sensation that is created in my body because of what you said.
Yeah.
How was the sensation created on my body? The brain immediately perceives what you said, and it says what he said is something that is wrong.
Yeah.
You have to defend yourself, so become angry.
Yeah.
So the problem is we have something called the pain body. The pain body is a culmination of all of these emotions. That is why some people, when they get angry, they come out and say, I behaved in a way where I could not even believe that was me. You take the remote, you throw it, you throw the phone, you scream and all of that. After a couple of minutes, you're like, that was not even me. Because your pain body consumes you. Because you've not had the habit of being mindful with your emotions. You've not trained your mind and your body to process the emotion before you addressing it. It takes over you. So it happens in 4 different levels. The first level is you're unaware of what your triggers are even after the emotions. Second is you're aware after you've expressed the emotions. Third aspect is you're aware while you're expressing those emotions. And the fourth one is you're aware even before the emotion is expressed.
Oh.
So you're saying something,
I
feel the trigger in me. Without responding or reacting, I'm aware of the trigger that is created in my body as a sensation, and I observe that without reacting to you, and I ask myself, where is this coming from? Why am I getting triggered?
Yeah, give us an exercise in order to better handle, for example, when we have a negative emotion. Can you give us an
Okay, there are
exercise?
2 things that I would recommend you doing. One is start doing breathing. Do the 4-7-8 breathing technique. The 4-7-8 is you breathe in for a count of 4, you hold your breath for a count of 7, and you exhale through your mouth for a count of 8. It starts to calm you, brings your nervous system back to parasympathetic. You're much more calmer right now. Now you can speak from a space of intellect rather than coming from a space of being consumed by your emotions. The second thing I would recommend you start doing is do the process called tagging the thoughts. As in, when you have a specific thought, for example, I'm looking at somebody and I feel jealous. I still don't know, or I still have not evolved to a level of awareness where I'm able to understand the deeper meaning as to why I'm feeling jealous. But rather, now I'm aware to the extent where I'm feeling jealous about a person. Instead of getting consumed in the jealousy and thinking, oh my God, she does that, she did that, she's better than me, all of that. Now tell your mind, interesting, this is a jealousy thought. Oh, okay, this is an insecure thought. So now you're tagging the thoughts with a specific name. When you do this, what starts to happen is your thoughts kind of instigate the emotions in your body. Now you're creating a space in between.
Oh, I see.
So now
They
the
separate,
minute you tag the thought, you're creating a space.
Yeah.
Now you're not getting consumed by the emotions, but rather you're becoming aware of what this thought is, and you're diving into the introspection process of it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I really, really love it.
Yeah.
Yes. So maybe now to understand manifestation, I think for our audience, maybe can you take us through a process of manifestation?
Okay, sure. I'll do it with you.
Yeah.
Sit very comfortably. Yeah. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Take another deep breath in and let it out. Lovely. Relax your body. Wonderful. Let's do the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale through your mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lovely. Now breathe in normally and breathe out. Breathe in normally and breathe out. Now, I want you to visualize your life, your ideal life, 1 year from now. So what are the aspects of your life that you're able to see? How are your finances growing? How are your investments growing? How beautiful is your relationship with all the people in your life? And how amazing is your relationship with yourself? Are you a confident person? How consistent are you? How persistent are you? Who are the guests that you're inviting, that you've always wanted to invite on your podcast? Visualize you sitting across them and asking them all these questions that you've always wanted to ask them. Now, think about the connection that you have with your higher self. The higher self that is constantly helping you, nurturing you, and showing you the path. Now, from your heart, feel the feelings of gratitude to the future version of you, which is 1 year from now. Just say, I'm so grateful for all the abundance. I'm so grateful for this beautiful health. I'm so grateful for all the connections that I have in my life. Now sink into that abundance, sink into that gratitude in your body, in your mind. Reaffirm this to yourself. This is my new reality. I am living my life's purpose. I deserve this. I become unstoppable in this process. I'm becoming my highest version in this process. Now, in your mind's eye, take a snapshot of the future that you're seeing right now. And now, tell your body to remember the emotions that you're feeling right now. This is going to be your new reality. Now take a deep breath in Let it out. And open your eyes whenever you're ready.
Wow. Thank you.
How do you feel?
I feel really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
Feel empowered.
Yeah.
Feel energized. Yeah.
The reason why I always tell people visualize more often is because you're training your body to feel the emotions of the future in the now.
Yeah.
When you do that, your body, so we don't manifest what we want. We only manifest what we normalize. If the body is normalized to the feelings of abundance, it's going to attract abundance easily. If the body normalizes the feeling of being in a healthy relationship, it's going to attract healthy relationship easily. So visualization is a process of you helping your body to lift the emotions of the future in the now so that you're bridging the gap.
Yeah, because our mind doesn't know the difference between what is
real
imagined thought or what is happening now, right?
Yeah, that's why when you think about lemon being squeezed in your mouth, you can feel that. That's the power.
Yeah, this is very, very, very powerful.
It is.
I think where a lot of people might struggle is even the awareness about what do I want.
Yeah.
So maybe you can give us an exercise for people to be aware what they really want in their life. Really meaning like the inner, not the ego.
I get it. I'll tell you something, right? We all believe we want material things in our life. But what we truly want is the feelings, those things we think will give us.
Yeah.
So for example, why do I want a big house? It gives me a sense of safety. Why do I want a lot of money in my life? It gives me a feeling of abundance. Why do I want a healthy relationship in my life? Because it gives me a feeling of belonging. So we're not actually chasing the external things. We're chasing the feelings that we believe these things will actually give us. So now, rather than focusing on what these external things are, ask yourself, what is the feeling I want to feel in my body on a consistent basis? Do I want to feel the feelings of abundance? Do I want to feel the feelings of stability, love, all of this? And the beauty is, nothing on the external ever has the power to give you all of this because all of these feelings are already inside you. Now, when you saw your future in your mind's eye, you were able to generate the feelings of abundance, not because of something that someone gave you, because it was already inside of you and you're tapping into that feeling. So there's this beautiful author by the name Rupert Spira, right? He's written this book called You Are the Happiness You Seek. And he talks about this wonderful concept of, let me give you this example. I always talk about this in my personal coaching sessions. Let's assume, what's the favorite sweet that you've had? What's your favorite sweet?
Rasgulla.
Rasgulla. Okay, that's beautiful. Okay, let's say you love Rasgulla and you've had Rasgulla in one of the most famous Bengali sweet places. You've had Rasgulla. Now you're going to go around the city hunting for a Rasgulla to match the taste of what the first Rasgulla gave you. So which means you're seeking for something that you've already experienced in the past. What are we trying to experience in this lifetime is nothing but before we were incarnated, we knew what it feels like to be in the eternal bliss, unconditional love, and unconditional happiness. Our pursuit of everything in life is in the hope that we will feel that feeling in our life.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So why do you think a lot of people run behind money, run behind this, and sometimes, not sometimes, most often, feel unfulfilled in the process is because nothing on the external can ever give you that feeling of what you felt other than you yourself. That's why I say working on yourself is so profound, because nothing on the external will fill that void inside of you other than you getting in touch with your core essence. Only your core essence knows how it feels. So Rupert Spira talks about this. He says that eternal bliss, you already know how it feels. And you go on searching from different shops saying, hey, is this a Rasgulla? No. And you come back and you're like, how is this? To only realize that you already know, you already have within you to get in touch with that.
Yeah. I see. So what you say, like rather than external things, like pursue feelings that you wanna feel. and then that will
So
attract whatever.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
when you pursue feelings, so for example, let's say you want to make $1 million in your life.
Mhm.
What do you believe $1 million will give you? A
Yes.
specific feeling of
Yeah.
confidence, a specific
I
feeling
see.
of abundance. Every day, train your body to feel those emotions in your mind, in your body, as though what $1 million will give you. Now, the problem is most
I
people think when I
see.
become a vibrational match, the $1 million is going to fall from the sky on my lap. It does not. What the
Yeah.
universe will do is now you've become a vibrational match to $1 million, which means it'll plant ideas in your head. It'll plant people in your life. It'll create circumstances in your life. Acting upon all of that will result the $1 million in your life.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. I see. And what is the fastest way to manifest something that we want?
Okay, the fastest way to manifest something that you want is to embody the qualities of what your future version will have in the now so that you become a vibrational match. And in the process of embodying the qualities, you can do a lot of affirmations. One, to start changing your mindset, to start changing your subconscious beliefs. You can do multiple activities of you seeing the future, you writing down how it feels when you're living the future, you visualizing on an every single day basis, you having conversations with yourself. I have the weird habit of having conversations with myself. I stand in a room and I tell myself, I am destined for something amazing in this lifetime. I am born for this. The more I
Yeah.
say that, the more I believe it. So now my question is, do I believe it because I say it, or do I say it because I believe it? It's a paradox. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I know it works. The
Yeah.
more I tell myself what I'm destined for, the more I am doing it in the process. And I would also recommend, this is something I learned from my mentor, the more you give, the more you give, the more the universe gives you back. Especially when you're of service to other people in the world, the universe is of service to you always. Because you are acting as a medium to do God's work, the universe's work. When you do that, right, the universe is always rewarding you in abundance.
So good. Look how she smiles. So good. You have a beautiful smile.
Thank you.
You mentioned about, you say, certain affirmations for
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
Maybe you can share a few affirmations for our audience to practice.
Yeah. Start off with saying, I love myself for who I am, and I'm deserving of all the love and abundance in this world. I'm enough just the way I am. I'm the favorite child of the universe. I attract abundance and love with so much ease in my life. I'm living my life's highest purpose. I'm here for a bigger reason. I am born to win. The universe is always by my side. Everything in my life is happening for my highest good.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think we're coming to the end. Maybe you can, to finalize, maybe you can give us, like, what are some habits, daily habits that can help us in the process? Because you already explained to us what is manifestation, also how to let go, but how can we practice on a daily basis?
The first thing I would recommend is go on a no phone zone for 1 hour as soon as you wake up and 1 hour before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because that is the best time that you can start using your subconscious mind. So start avoiding using your phone or social media or anything. Just keep it aside. Sit with yourself. I always tell people to start this process called savers, right? Start the day with savers. Savers stands for S is silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. It's a 6-step process which will take 45 minutes to 1 hour every day. Start your day with savers. Because when you start the day with this, you're setting a tone for the entire day. And throughout the day, make it a point to not complain, gossip, or speak like a victim. Because when you don't do all these three, what you're unconsciously telling the universe is, I take 100% responsibility for my life. I am the creator of my life, right? And every day do affirmations. You feel it, you don't feel it, just look at yourself in front of the mirror and start doing affirmations. And right before you go to sleep, just read a nice book, and before you fall asleep, just visualize the life that you want to live. Feel the emotions that you want to feel in your body, and instruct your subconscious mind saying, thank you for showing me this. Now show me the path to achieve this. Thank you for showing me this. Now show me the path to achieve this. Fall asleep, and also be a part of a group or be with people who will kind of inspire you to become your best version, because that is the quickest way. You're in a room of like 5-10 people who are always thinking about growth, who's always thinking about working on themselves, who's inspiring you. You grow very, very quickly. But when you're with a bunch of people who are pessimistic, who don't talk about growth, who are always complaining and cribbing and gossiping, your energy also naturally starts to come down.
Yeah, and when we are surrounded by very negative people and that are against whatever we want, what is your advice?
I would suggest for some time disconnect with them.
Yeah.
No matter how uncomfortable it feels like abandonment, it's completely okay. Choose you, at least now.
Love it. How do you feel now, Gayathri?
I feel very good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel very
Me
good.
too. And I have to share something that I want to manifest.
Yes.
Can I share?
Yes, please.
I want to manifest a part 2 of this conversation because I have so many more questions and it was so good.
We'll definitely do it.
And I'm going to manifest a part 2.
Yes, done. It's already done.
Gayathri, that was so good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
For sharing so much. I loved it.
Thank you so much for being an amazing host. Thank you.